Hello, welcome to a new lecture. My name is JC Paz, and in this video I am going to show how I built a touchscreen controller for my WLED string. The components needed are one ESP32 with WLED loaded and available IP number, another ESP32 connected to my PC, a ILI9341 display with touchscreen support, one solderless breadboard, and 12 male-female cables to wire. To program the ESP32 to control the display with touch, I used Platformio and VS Code. Open Platformio and create a new project. I called it WLED GUI, Board Espressif ESP32, Framework Arduino, and finish. If you open Platformio INI file, you can check it or modify it. I am adding monitor speed equal to 115,200. Clicking on the Platformio icon, open Libraries, and look for TFT ESPI. You should see the one published by Bodmer. Click on it and add it to the project. Once again, open Libraries and look for Esp32 touchscreen. You should see the one published by Paul Staffordson. Click on it and add it to the project. One more time, open Libraries and look for Arduino JSON. Add the one published by Benate Blancon. Now click the Files icon. Go to Source and open main.cpp. From this file, just keep include Arduino. Select the rest and replace it for this new code. The code includes the header files to use the TFI display and the touchscreen. It defines two buttons, how to draw them, and write some strings on the display. It initializes the touchscreen and draws the buttons. Inside the loop, it checks if the screen was touched and records the P coordinates, maps P to the X and Y display coordinates, sends this pair of coordinates to the serial monitor, and checks if they are inside the button's interior region. The TFT ESPI library by default uses the user setup INI include file. If we open it, we can see some defines needed for the library to work appropriately. Be sure to check the initializations that we show here in several defines. I wired the ESP32 and display touch device using these pins. I used some fonts to display strings in a visible way. And define some frequencies for the hardware to work. Going back to main.cpp. We can proceed to build the project. And after a successful compilation, proceed to upload the code to the microcontroller. Here we can see the interaction with both buttons and the modifications needed to interact with the Esp32 loaded with WLED software using Wi-Fi. Compile again and upload. Here the touchscreen malfunctions. It needs calibration. To calibrate the touchscreen, I am going to replace the main function with this simple one. After compilation and upload, the buttons are no longer present, but we can find the coordinates of the four corners. Modify main.cpp to include more buttons and touchscreen calibration. Include the command to interact with WLED software and the other ESP32. Compile and upload one more time. During this stage, the display is erased, as you can see. And a new one with 5 buttons shows now. In the terminal, we see that the ESP32 connects with the network. Also, we see that we interacted with the app at position 129:64. And also that the second microcontroller with WLED software received a command. We can be sure because we have a 200 response. After clicking on a second button, we also receive a 200 response. After clicking on one of the second row buttons, you will see WLED preset send and a response code 200. Sometimes the display doesn't respond because you need to tap harder. Here we see the two modules in action. And here the PC WLED application in the background changing presets as we interact with the button controller. We have reached the end of this lecture. Please give a like and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Subscribing is the only way that people like me honors you with our work. This is another video about the interaction of both modules. By the way, I pretend to finish a better one to use it during Christmas. See you in the next.